Hello, Chief. Hi, Sherry.
How are you? How is everybody?
Everybody's good. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Let's see, why is my video not showing? Here we go. Hi there. Hello, Olivia. I hope you're better.
Yes, thank you. I am feeling a lot better now.
Okay.
Sherry, I might have to jump off because I got a family thing impromptu going on here. So
Okay, well, we put you at the very beginning.
thank you. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to be sure that if, for the thing, that I don't say what you are covering, so.
Right.
Good evening, Jessica
Hello.
and Jeremy. Welcome, Jeremy.
Need to go.
I saw in reply to my to the email that Teresa will be not feeling well and I think who Jillian was going to be traveling for the beginning. I might tune in later.
And Vanessa Westlake, who is our new student member,
Mhm.
had a band event this evening, so we're not going to really be able to do much voting, are we? Okay. Well, we're just going to wait another minute. It's just 7:02, another minute or so, because I know Steve has to jump off shortly, and I don't believe we're going to have any public participation. I haven't heard from anybody. Ah, Rabbi Greg, fantastic. Okay. And also Pete Davis from the town council had a conflict as well. Here's Jillian, she's here. Jillian, Jeremy, Rabbi Greg, great. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voting members. Excellent. That means we have a quorum. And at this point, I think I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. If you notice, I'm well swollen. I've had dental surgery, so I hope that I can continue to speak through this whole meeting because it kind of hurts. This meeting is being recorded, just note that. And I don't anticipate any public participation. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually jump to item 3, because Steve Mayo may not be able to stay the whole time.
Great.
So Steve, why don't you kick off?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And first of all, great to see everybody, and particularly thrilled to see my good friend, Rabbi Hirsch. Rabbi, welcome back. You look rested and ready to go.
Absolutely. Great to see you. Thank you.
Thrilled
be back.
to be serving with you on this committee. The rabbi has done some great work for the town in his tenure here, and I've always enjoyed working with him, as I know has the police department. So just a great man. So thrilled to have him here. Really, I just want to say I had a lovely meeting with Sherry after her ascension to the chairmanship here. And I just wanted to go over a couple of things. Number one was that when the treasurer is available, I don't think she's on tonight, the treasurer. No.
I am here. I
Oh,
just have
you
my
are. There
video
you are.
off.
I didn't see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry
Uh,
about that.
Oh, no problem. Jillian, when you have time, I'd love to sit down with you to go over the different accounts that we have, and we can do that either via Zoom or in person at some time when you have some time available, because the HRC does have $3,000 in tax levy money. Town council increased that this last year. I'd like to go through with some of the grants and how we handle those money, and grants are still very important. We still want to get as many as we can, and how we work the revolving account, which is, with the sale of items like the signs and things like that. So Jillian, when you have some time, just shoot me an email and we can sit down and go through that. Okay?
That would be great. Thank you so
Great,
much.
great. We want that to be successful and easy. I know town accounting program can sometimes be a little bit mysterious in how we do things. So here to help.
And Jessica, can you please note that as a to-do on the minutes? For Jillian to arrange a meeting with our town manager.
Yep, it's on there. Thanks.
Okay.
My other purpose to be here, and I'll be here at many meetings as I can. I'll tell you, during budget season, it'll get tough, but I do faithfully read the minutes anyway. So thank you for sending them out. But I really would like to for the commission to consider focusing more on education events. A few years ago in 2017, and I know a lot of you weren't familiar with the HRC in 2017. There was a great speaker series, and it really had some great topics. And I think that I'd love to be part of the conduit here to work together with the chamber to really maybe talk about workplace diversity and where that is heading now with some of the recent Supreme Court decisions. And how we can work together with our Chamber of Commerce and maybe educating some of our private sector workers about how we can handle that, and not only in diversity in the workplace, but in customer relations and things like that. I'm thrilled that the schools has the Metco director is a part of this group, and she has been great to work with over the years, and I see some more synergy there. And I'm happy to see town events too, because I do see that on the agenda with things like the farmers market and town day. And I think the more that the HRC gets out into the community, not just at certain events that maybe not everyone's going to go to, but I think that the more we get exposed to the community, particularly in the speaker series, that would be great. We try to work hard at that at home as well. I'm also very open to doing anything to help out the council with the open meeting law. That is confusing for people. It's not something that people are used to. And Tom Mullen, our town council, great video that I think that actually, Madam Chair, you've made that available to people. So take a look at it. And if we feel that we have any confusion, Tom would be great to would be very, very happy to come in and speak about it, because it's sometimes it gets a little counter intuitive on that. So that's where I am. I'd love to be a conduit to some of those other areas, particularly the chamber. I work with them very closely. Would love to see us embark on some some more educational events, and really help with some synergy between a lot of the other town groups. I am fortunate enough that I interact with almost every one of them at one way or another, so I can often make introductions and things like that. We want this very important committee. I was around when Bill Chetwin started it, along with some others, and it has been a great benefit to the town. So I just wanted to say those few things, and then I'll hang in here as long as I can, Madam Chair. And if there are any questions, I'll answer them right now.
Thank you very much for making yourself available. And after this meeting, I haven't done it yet because I was going to mention it at this meeting. I will send you the link to the video that is of Tom Mullen talking to this particular body about the open meeting laws. He came to our meeting a year or two ago, and rather than, he doesn't need to come back again, but you can watch what he had to say, and I will send you that link, and I encourage you to watch it. It's excellent. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Mayo?
Steve, please,
Steve,
please.
okay. If not, then let's go to what would have been item 2. I have a question for Jessica. Have you been able to get the first part of the April minutes from Jatika?
I have not. I haven't heard anything. If if you've got a phone number, I mean, I don't want to press her, but has anybody heard?
In fact, she has missed so many meetings, and Steve, you can clarify this. I believe she's already missed 3 commission meetings.
I
And
hope that she's okay.
well, she said she had some, she had originally volunteered to help out with the APAH event, and then she just sent me an email and said, I'm sorry, I had some family issues. But I have not heard a word from her. She has not indicated why she's not coming to meetings, but I believe if you miss 3 commission meetings, your role on the commission is in jeopardy. Is that correct, Steve?
There is a bylaw to that effect.
Mhm.
I would have to, I don't know the exact number. It has to do with missing meetings in a row. So, but I will put that as an action item for me to follow up with the chair on that one,
Okay,
because it changed a couple of times.
and we are already in need of an additional commissioner. So
Yeah.
I would hope that, we don't lose her as well. So that was my question for Steve. So I guess we can go ahead and approve the minutes from the June 27th meeting.
Well,
Since the
I have
people,
I do have one question that I don't know what, if we don't ever get those, do we ultimately end up posting the half we have with a note about this, or what is the process there?
I think that you would maybe go back to the tape of the meeting. It's great that it's on the tape, and create a meetings and minutes for the entire meeting.
Yep.
And remember, I know, Jessica, you are very thorough in the minutes, okay? Very thorough. Probably, they're not transcripts, as I say. They're just,
Well, remember, I 3 years from now, compare side by side and see
That's
if
right.
I'm gonna say one. But I can go, I can get the, just for figuring this out, or just getting it checked off the list, I can go to the recording and make a, unless it makes more sense for somebody who was there. This predates me, but I can make, as the secretary, I can put together a first half, if that helps.
Right. While we were talking here, Madam Chair, it's 5 consecutive meetings.
5.
that have abandoned your position.
Okay.
That's bylaw 9, section 25.
And just as a side note here, I want to welcome Counselor Maureen Butt, who joined our meeting. I see her name on there, and I know she came in, and we appreciate the fact that she has decided to continue with us, being our liaison to the town council. Okay, I can help you with that, Jessica.
Okay.
Because I was at that meeting, obviously, and I gave you the second half of the notes when she said she had to leave. So I will go back into the recording and prepare the first half consistent with what I did for the second half, so with Mel's spot. So that's one of my to-dos.
Yeah, that
Uh,
sounds good. Reach out to me if you need help on, or we can work together on that.
Okay, okay, so now I would like to call a vote. Oh, actually, I didn't do roll call. I missed a step. And everything has to be verbal. You can't just raise your hand. So I'm going to call the names of the different people. If you would just say yes or present. These are the voting members of the commission. Jessica Suchik,
Present?
Jeremy Little,
Yes, present.
Jillian Dement,
Present.
Olivia Dannenberger,
Present.
Rabbi Greg Hirsch, you're a voting member.
Present.
Okay, and Sherry Oken present. You're all the voting members of the commission. So now that we've clarified that, do we have any questions about the June 27th minutes? Olivia, Jessica did a great job, and I know that both myself and Teresa gave her some feedback afterwards, and she's edited accordingly. Does anyone have any questions, comments, additional corrections? If not, do we have a motion to accept the general meeting minutes of the HRC for June 27th, 2023?
So moved.
Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, so Jeremy was the first and the second was, was that you, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay. And now we'll take a vote for all in favor. Sherry Oken, yes. Olivia,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Rabbi Greg.
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Jillian, you were here, right? Olivia?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, yes.
Okay. The motion passes. The minutes are accepted and will be sent to Sherry Dalton for our current records. Okay. Financial report. Jillian, were you able to get that report from the accounting office, the people that I tried to link you up with?
I did get the report without meeting with Steve. I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet, but I did get that report.
Okay, for future reference, what we're going to do is make sure that you get that report about 10 days in advance of this meeting, and I will include it in the meeting package so that the whole commission can see where we stand financially.
Okay, say that again. So I'm going to get it about 10 days
Yeah,
before.
about 10, yeah, at request it.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I'm a little muddled because this giant hack in me, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Oh,
I'm trying to log on now so that I can see
okay,
everybody.
okay, I was thinking it's a bill. Yes, about 10 days prior to the meeting, make sure you request the financial reports and then send them, look them over, send them to me. We can talk about them before the meeting, and I'm sure they're included in the packet of material that goes out to everyone beforehand, so we can all get it together. Jillian, okay? Oh, she's still trying to log on.
That's good. Yes, I can hear you. Just
Okay,
sort myself out.
excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. So we don't have, and as Steve said, we have $3,000 in our allotted budget from the town. Plus, I applied for, as I told you last time, for a grant for the Mass Cultural Council, and we have $1,880 in that account. And I've used some of that money for International Women's Day and also for the APAH, and we can use it for events going forward. So I thank the town very much for increasing our budget so that we continue to do the kinds of programming and events that everyone seems to enjoy so much. Next thing, operational procedures. Steve touched on some things, but I also want to tell you that there is, if you haven't seen it, a handbook in general, for everyone who's on a committee or a commission in the town of Wakefield. And I will send everyone another copy of that because it's really important to review that. So we've got a couple of pieces of homework. Tom Mullen's video and that handbook, and I'll make sure you all have it tomorrow, so you'll have a full month to look at it before the next meeting. Now the fun stuff. Okay. At the end of last year, one of our commissioners, who is no longer on the commission actually, made a very valid point. That she was very concerned that people were responsible for so much that they would burn out. And one of the things that came up was that there really needs to be any kind of major thing we plan or initiative, at least 2 commissioners working on the subcommittee. Any number of community members. I know for APAH, I had a fabulous team of community members, but I was the only commissioner. And that was a problem because if I wasn't available, there wasn't anyone else to really guide this event. So moving forward, as we look at what's coming up, I want to call upon all of you to, as much as you can, to participate. And if an event does not have 2 champions, 2 commissioners, then we really cannot have it. It's just too much to ask for one person. Thoughts about that?
I think that sounds reasonable.
I know, Jeremy, you've been around for a while, so what do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I know, you know, it's a lot when it falls on somebody to be, if they're the only liaison to the committee. And like you said, Sherry, surgeries come up, vacations, you know, kids get sick, whatever. COVID was around before, which made it, you know, hard, right? Like, I remember, Sherry, you got COVID just before one of the meetings, and luckily you had it one of the events, and luckily you had it so organized that we were able to, you know, carry it off. But not everybody would have been as organized. So yeah, two people. You don't have to be like, you know, the most experienced in whatever event it is. You don't have to have done it in the past. You just need to be willing to work with the other HRC member and the community members, and, you know, just help facilitate things along. And know who to call if something's needed, right? Like, know that you can call Sherry or myself or Teresa. You know, if something comes up and you're in a pinch, or, you know, like Steve said, he's always available if he's there. Maureen has been around for a long time. She's always, you know, as part of the HRC liaison, she's always willing to help out. From what I understand, Rabbi Greg was on this committee for a long time before I was, so I'm sure he has lots of experience on some of the events that we've done historically. But yeah, don't be afraid to volunteer. I was guilty of it my first couple of years, not wanting to be a point person. So now that we need 2, that's good, because I'll be more likely to join and not, you know, because otherwise, too, if you're the point person, you feel like you're gonna get stuck with everything. Maybe, I don't know, but at least with 2, you'll know that the work is spread amongst the committee members, you know. So it's a good point, Sherry.
And I also want to note that some of our immediate past commissioners have said that they still would like to be involved with certain select events, and they know how they've been run, or certain commemorations. Like, for instance, Benny Reed still would like to be involved with anything we do for Indigenous people recognition. And that's excellent, because she's done it for a couple of years. And what ideally I'd like is that anybody who spearheads any kind of initiative, make sure that we have at least a bulleted point list of instructions of how it runs and who our contact people are, and a rough suggested timeline, so that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And trying to find someone who can help us out. I mean, there are only 3 of us now who have recent history with the commission, and that's only 3 of us. And like I said, we still need other people to work as well. So moving right ahead here. So commissioner participation. Jeremy, farmers market. Do we have a
Sherry,
date?
Sherry, can I just
Yes.
add one thing to the
Oh, sure.
previous point? And that's the fact that, you know, we, as Steve referenced, we've done a lot over the years as HRC, and our events have become bigger, some of them, and some, I guess, the speaker series, I guess, has gone away because it hasn't been here since I've been on the commission. It's not a bad thing to downsize our number of events if they're quality events, and we fill in with some other stuff too. So don't feel the pressure of having to do everything the way it was done the year before and whatnot, you know. And then also, I'll encourage us to reach out to our neighboring communities who now have very well established, you know, HRCs or something like that to partner with on events. And, you know, our people from Wakefield have no problem going over to Reading to be an event or to Stoneham or whatnot. So keep that in mind too, as we do the planning and programming for the year. So.
That's helpful to know. I was wondering, you know, certainly no need to reinvent the wheel if we have well-established things, but also I was wondering how much of an expectation from the town is it that we do the same events that we've done. I'm definitely interested in talking about discussion series and things like that. So I was wondering that. Thank you.
And actually, in the last 3 years, we added a number of commemorations. Things came up in our meetings and commissioners said, well, aren't we going to do something for that? And so we added. Last year, we did work with, I believe, Reading when it came to Indigenous Peoples Day. And our one strictly sort of speaker type of event was International Women's Day, which we've been doing for a long, long time. And that's always very topical, very educational, and usually features a panel. So that's one of those things that has a long history. The ones we added, and they were very well received, was Hispanic heritage, Indigenous people, and in the spring, the Asian Pacific Islander. And that was very well received, especially after so many people in the Asian community had come under assault or felt threatened. The fact that we were celebrating their cultures was very appreciated. And so we added that. But again, like I said, I have this committee that they already have asked me when we started again. And that's not until May. But so let's look at what's coming up more immediately, because we all need to get some dates on our calendars. Jeremy, did you make contact with the farmers market and get us some dates?
Actually, Steve, do you have something? I see your hand up. Did you
Oh,
have
no,
something
I actually wanted to just say that we do have a very robust communications department, and bringing them in through me or directly Jen McDonald early in the process, the event can get pushed out on Facebook, social media. We have the kiosks. We can help with all of those promotional items in there. So don't think you have to reinvent the wheel every time on your committees. Saying use the town resources so we can help you.
And
That's-
all of you have received that programming document that gives you the names of all the people to contact and a suggested timeline for planning things, from the town people in the town, the media, the DPW, all the different people, the AmeriCorps Center who you speak with, the library, and also the library. If we do an event at the library, they will also promote it through their systems. So if we have a speaker series, which is logically at someplace like the library, unless it's at the high school, all of the names of the PTO leaders and the principals, that's all in that document. So it's already done for you, and I've passed it along to Jessica as our secretary to make sure that it stays up to date.
Sherry, is it okay? I just want to amplify
Sure,
a couple
Maureen,
of things
thank
that
you.
were said. So totally want to just amplify a couple of things. What Jeremy said, you know, there's only 3 previous HRC members, but there's tons of people willing to help, including myself, Rabbi Greg. If we ever need someone to play a guitar, sing a song, go to Rabbi Greg, not to me, but he is always willing, and he's great at that. And I think it's really important for us to remember other partners. And I think other towns, Reading has someone who runs their diversity office. And so, and Stoneham has a group. And so I think that's a really interesting collaboration. And then we've done collaborations like with the library for Hispanic Heritage Month. And so I think it's important to remember those collaborations that we have with other departments in town. And, you know, Steve, it's really nice to see you here. And I think you offering communications, but I think, you know, your suggestion, the speaker series, I don't remember that. It was a long time ago. And I think working with the chamber is great, but that includes working with our economic and community development manager, right? So I think we are, I think there's a lot of people we can partner with. And I think just to echo what Jeremy said, like, for the newer people here, and I know there's some people that aren't at this meeting, but like, you guys are the members, you're the commission members. Like, we appointed you as a town council, we appointed you, and you get to make your term on this doing what you want to do. And if the commission decides like, hey, we don't feel like doing that event, or we want to do this other event, or we want to grow this partnership, like you guys are empowered to do that. That's why we chose you. A lot of people, you know, submitted applications to be on this group, and we chose you because we want you to use that thinking. So just wanted to add those 2 cents.
Oh, and actually the town development manager's name is on that sheet. And another person I'm going to add is Bob Vincent is now, who used to be on the commission years ago, is very active in Wakefield. Let's see, Wakefield
Alliance Against Violence.
Alliance Against Violence, yeah. And he would probably love to be able to do some work with us as well. And in fact, at our flag raising Pride Month, he had a little exhibit set up so that, because we were inviting him to participate more with us. Okay. This is all just, this emphasizes the need for us all to pitch in, and if it's too much, to say it is too much, and say, scratch that, we move on to the next thing. Because we are all volunteers, and everyone has a life outside of the commission. Even though sometimes people say to me, do you have a life outside the commission? During a major event, it doesn't feel that way. But some of the things that we do that are very important is participating in things that the town has, like the farmers market, town day, festival by the lake. We try to be at these events, and I have already put in an application for us, the town day. They already have a table reserved for us. It is on October 7th, and I'm gonna send out a schedule, and we're gonna divide it up and ask people to volunteer. And what you do is you stand at the table and you talk to people coming by about the work that we do and what's important, and try to see if you can get them also to become involved with us. Farmers market, we usually do on 2 dates. And as I said, Jeremy, you were going to find a couple of dates for us?
Yeah, so actually, I went through the link from January that we were sent on the HRC email. So these like nonprofits are scheduled back in January. And when I went through that recently, the dates were already out into like September and October. So my question to Steve is, can I email the farmers market directly and try to get an earlier slot somehow for the HRC?
Sure, you can, and why don't you CC me on that, okay?
Okay, because we're late to the game because, you know, obviously our past commissioner ended up leaving early, and then I was in limbo, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I'll email them, Sherry, and I'll copy Steve, and I can copy you as well, Sherry, so you can be on it. But I'll try to get us a couple slots earlier, like in August, because I don't think anybody wants to wait till October to be cold.
Well,
we want to be in the sunshine and warm and be all festive. So, but
Well-
if not, I'll get them. I know the vendors are filled up and they're taking already for 2024. So this is extremely popular event now. I remember when it started here in Wakefield, and it's awesome to see how much it blooms, and no pun intended. But I also like to go a different way on Saturday morning if I'm heading to Reading than to go North Ave if I don't want to stop at the farmer's market. So especially with my 16-year-old who's learning to drive, I forgot and took him through there last weekend. So it was a very good experience for him to learn to drive in Wakefield around the farmer's market. So, but yeah, I will follow up, Sherry, in the next day or so with the email to them and ask for it.
And then
Okay.
I will send schedulers to everybody. And what we usually do is try to have 2 people for hour and a half, 2-hour shifts. That's it. You don't have to stay the whole time. And the people who are there initially do the setup. I have all the materials. I have a 6-foot table. Jeremy, I believe you usually bring the canopy.
Yeah, I have a 12 by 12 pop-up that we usually, I can at least, drop off or coordinate with whoever's the first one. It's really easy to set up with.
Right,
people,
and then
so.
we bring our own lawn chairs and I have the buckets full of materials, which we'll be reordering and refurbishing our supplies. I just got it. It's sitting in my front hall. Okay, so everybody, mark that date, 10/7, Town Day. It's all day. Actually, is it all day? I'm sorry, Steve, is it all day or is it 12 to 4?
Yeah, it's, I think it's 12 to 4 or 1 to 4, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I was there last year and it's a lot of fun. You get to talk to a lot of members of the community. And we ended up expanding our ability to reach people directly. Every time we go to one of these events, we ask people, or we have an event, we ask people if they would like to be on our email distribution list so that we can more directly contact them if we have a big event coming, or if we have an opening on the commission, which we do. So please mark 10/7, all hands on deck for at least an hour or so. And it is a lot of fun and the time goes by very, very quickly. Okay, the other 2 things I have on here are traditional, have been traditional the last couple of years. And as I said, Teresa has already said that she would spearhead Hispanic heritage, and I will do the second because I've done it for the last couple of years. So we have 2 commissioners. That doesn't mean others can't be involved as we develop the program. We also already have 2 community volunteers who are Hispanic. So I think it would be, it's the last couple of years, it's been a celebration of the musical and dance cultures of people from Hispanic speaking countries. And that is a lot of different countries. So if you would like to.
Do you want to talk about it, what it looked like? Just, I don't know if people were able to go the last couple of years. 2 years ago, it was outside of the library. We're partnering with the
Sure.
library.
I can, yeah, well,
It
2
was-
years ago, my computer
I
just
can
told
do
me.
it, Sherry. It seems like your laptop. So it
Oh,
was
no, I
outdoors
just have
the-
to I just had to plug it in.
It was
Okay.
outside of the library. It was probably one of my favorite events of my entire time of living in Wakefield. Great music, people dancing, family friendly. Last year it rained, and so it was moved inside. Still one of my favorite events. The library was buzzing. So many people walking in, not expecting to hear music, not expecting to dance. And people had a great time. It is literally like a celebration of music and dance, and it turns our library into such a festival. And both Chief and I think Chief was there last year and Steve, and they did not hit the dance floor. So this year, the money is on to get them on the dance floor.
The last thing you want to see is me dancing.
We're gonna dance after you sing, Maureen.
That's never gonna happen. Then.
Okay. We
So-
actually had.
You did have your staff, our town assessor,
Town
Victor,
assessor,
dancing
he represented us well.
nonstop. Yeah. So I guess if we each have someone representing, then we're okay.
So Jessica, from what I understand, the to-do list is Rabbi Greg to play guitar, Maureen to sing, and Steve and Steve to do the dancing at the
Oh,
event.
thanks for correcting that. I just had everybody dancing, so that helps.
Yeah. And actually, this past year, in 2022, we had professional dance instructors. So we were teaching people how to do all different kinds of Latin dancing. And the children everyone was dancing. It was really quite joyous and fun. And it's a nice kickoff for the fall. The Indigenous people, like I said, was co-sponsored. And we have someone experienced who's willing to come back and help. And I was wondering if there's anyone right now who has some interest in that in particular, because like I said, unless we have 2 people, we're not going to be able to do things.
I can do it.
Okay, Olivia,
You can put me as well. It's Benny, right? Benny's coming back
Yep,
to do it?
yep, okay,
Yeah.
Olivia and Jeremy then.
Yeah.
And then on Hispanic Heritage will be Teresa and Sherry. And then, of course, we do major events that involves a lot of people in the town for Martin Luther King Parade of Stop King in January. And it's never too early to start. That's one of the things I wanted to tell you. So they don't have to rush. Does anyone have any other comments they'd like to make about upcoming events, activities, or participation?
I would like to talk about a speaker series at some point.
Okay, would you like to, Jillian, would you like to be one of the people to investigate with the chamber a speaker series?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Now I'll help out on that too, Jillian.
Okay, great.
okay.
Yeah, I am interested in thinking on more educational, more of all of that. So I wouldn't mind being part of any conversations happening with that. I also will reach out to people to help on events. I just I with a toddler, I'm making calculations in all of my mind of where I can be and how much I can do. So but I would definitely also like to support these events, but that and the educational stuff.
I wonder if anybody who experienced the speaker series in the past could share a little bit about it, or I mean, I have some ideas of how to organize a new one, wondering if anyone else has ideas about that.
I have an idea. I don't know where things have been in the past. It seems like it could be a library thing, but I
That's
just
what I was thinking.
I'd like to bring attention to the Albion Cultural Exchange that is now being they're doing more performance and more it's under the recreation department now, and they're doing more things there, so it's just something to kind of also keep an eye attention on for all events.
Yeah, it's not a very large space because it's broken up into several different rooms. But let's say, for instance, we had an Indigenous storyteller. That could be at the Albion Center. That
Yeah,
would be a lovely event.
Yep, I just put up a storytelling event with my wife there, and that we hosted for an open mic. It's a nice, cozy little space just to keep it in people's minds for various events.
And do remember that we can also use the theater at the high school, and that's a wonderful space for a larger speaker event, because that's a bigger space than the library has downstairs.
What was that bigger space?
The theater, the Savings Bank Theater at the high
Okay.
school.
Yeah.
That's where we've been having the International Women's Day events.
Okay.
And the thing that's so convenient there is if we have a reception afterwards, we actually have the vocational school provide, we buy, some cookies and things from them, and they deliver it there, and we can use the cafeteria, so there can be an after reception in a place like that, because there's that much room. So
I'm picturing, maybe a 4-part series or something. I could probably line up a speaker to talk about neurodiversity in the workplace. I've got some networks with LGBTQ or gender diversity.
and please get in touch with the head of the chamber as well, because they would like to be involved, and they have connections to speakers as well. People who might be able to guide you on something like this would be the people who are on the Suites of Lecture Series Committee for the town. And
Which lecture series?
Suites, it's hard to say.
I know, sorry.
SWEETSZER.
Okay,
It's sweet.
Yeah.
SWEE.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and it started up again. It was during COVID, obviously, we didn't have it, but they usually have during the course of the year. And you don't want to conflict with their dates either.
Mhm.
So you always want to make sure you check the town calendars and not have any conflicts with
Mhm.
dates.
And you said, on the chamber, you said to make sure connect. with.
Yes, and the contact for the chamber, John's email address and the phone number is right on that programming sheet that I sent around to everybody.
And if anyone has other, ideas for topics or themes, definitely.
Yeah,
out.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'd really like to see some education or speakers about like addiction and harm reduction, because it seems like a big issue in our community, and a lot of people I see aren't very compassionate to our homeless neighbors who may be struggling. I think maybe a Narcan training or just like a speaker from their community might be really good for all of us here.
And remember that Wakefield does have a health department with expertise that you can draw from too. If you have not gone to the town website and looked at the full list of all the committees and commissions, all the people you can co-work with, you should do that, because the contact information is there. And again, the whole idea of not having to reinvent the wheel, there's lots of people with lots of expertise already in place.
In the past, have we typically paid speakers or have we found volunteers?
Well, it depends. International Women's Day, I had a panel of speakers, all but one came from the town. And only the one from outside asked for a fee. And the ones from the town wouldn't even accept an honorarium. They just said, no, I live here. This is a service I'll provide to the town. So it's really a matter of who it is that you're enlisting to speak. And we do have a budget. But then we have quite a few things we want to do with that budget, but we do have a budget, so we can pay speakers if it's somebody who we absolutely really want, like someone who is such an expert from the outside and willing to come here, and they have several $100 speaker fee. We can do that. I
We,
promised you that I would try not to let the meeting go on too long, so I'm going to ask the folks, Jillian, Jessica in particular, you two in particular, said you wanted to spearhead the speaker series. If you would have offline discussions and bring Steve Mayo in on it as well, and then bring it back to us at our next meeting, that would be good, because this is the full commission meeting rather than committee meetings. That's how we try to keep it to under an hour.
Okay. You said myself, Jessica, was there somebody else?
No, you and Jessica were the
That's
two.
Steve.
And
Okay.
Olivia said she had some interest in certain topics she wanted to suggest.
Right.
But if you and Jessica could be the spearhead people. I have Olivia and Jeremy for Indigenous people, Teresa and myself for Hispanic heritage, and all hands on deck for Farmers Market in Town Day. We'll all get in there for an hour or so and talk to the town. The
And
rest of the
Sorry,
things on-
Sherry. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sherry. I know you're trying to stay on schedule.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many new members. I just want to say one thing about, the town council has strategically increased the budget over the last couple of years. It started with a budget of 0. And that's so you can do the programming. Once you start finding out what things cost, obviously, as we started the meeting, go for grants, but talk to Steve, talk to Sherry Dalton. The one thing that the HRC, just like many other nonprofits, and my day job is at nonprofits, is to be mindful of is if we are using people to share their stories in a volunteer capacity and they're from marginalized or underrepresented groups, we should reimburse them and give them an honorarium.
Right.
And so we've done that for Juneteenth. We've done that for Indigenous People Day. We've done that for Women's Day, as Sherry was saying. And so I think as a group, we need to just be mindful of that, right? So it's not a town employee, someone who gets paid from the town, that's their job. They should be there. But if you're asking somebody to share their story and represent their community, then we should talk about honorariums and stipends. So just we do that at all the nonprofits I work at, and just wanted to share that I think that's a good kind of, level setting for the group to think about.
And I did share with everybody here how we compensated or at least recognized financially the contributions of the people to APAH, because we had people who asked for nothing, and they came and they performed and they were wonderful. And at the very least, we made donations to the cultural center that they came from, and to individuals.
And I will add an asterisk so Steve's head doesn't explode, all within reason, right? So we're not going to Not going to
Yes.
pay Oprah Winfrey $1 million to show up here.
Right.
But, all within reason of anyone from communities, local communities to,
Mhm.
share their stories and make our community stronger.
And speaking of making our community stronger, I have something to share with all of you. I'm going to share the screen. I hope I can get it up here. We're known for selling these signs. He has no home here, and we're almost out of them. And I sent everybody a few designs here because I wanted you to take a look and tell me if you want to stick with what we have or change up the sign before I order them, because I'm going to be making an outlay of several hundreds of dollars. And we have to have these available at any of the town events that we are at, because people buy them, plus people contact us individually. Like I had a man contact me and said, I want 30. That's why we don't have very many left. And we ended up delivering it to his house. He gave us the money. It went into our revolving fund. So do you have any feeling about whether you want to continue with the sign that we've been using traditionally, which is the one on the upper left? Or these were just some samples that were a little bit different that I thought I'd share with you.
So Sherry, are they all the same price? I mean, obviously we've bought the ones up in the upper left corner before, so.
Yes.
So they're all the same price to consider?
Yeah, and they're all bulk, because when you buy them individually, they're like $25 a piece. And when you buy them in bulk, the price I think has increased, so we will have to talk about, we have been selling it for $5, including the frame. And if we can still do that, that would be great. If it ends up being, some cost out of our budget to subsidize this, if it's not ridiculous, we can do that as well. But I do need to order them. And like I said, I've given you some suggestions. I know I have 2 of the ones on the upper left at my house, and I live in the end of a dead end street. So anyone who by mistake comes down my street sees 2, they can't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, none of the designs stick out to me more than the other, to be honest. So I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion on them, but I obviously defer to all of the rest of the board.
Yeah, I've seen them around, and I've seen some in red. I'm not sure if other organizations or other people are getting them from various places. I think they're fairly recognizable as is now. I think I like the one in the upper left. I mean, it sticks out. I like it because I want to reclaim America. I want America to be for everyone, and I like it.
Yes.
That flag in it. So
Yes.
I think that has it kind of works for me. I had a whole conversation with my wife about this the other day. So I like it as is now.
The last batch we bought were red ones, and they started peeling right away. It didn't even
Oh, yeah.
last a year, and those weren't even available when I was looking online. I didn't see them, so they must have gotten some complaints. But I know the blue ones have held up very well. And like I said, I stuck with making, except for the one on the upper right, there's lots of red, white, and blue, indicating this is the United States. But if there isn't any objection, I will go ahead and order what we've had in the past. The one on the upper left. Any other comments? Okay. I will. With that share. And put us all back up on the screen again. Well, I'm going to hold screen display. Why am I not getting a whole screen display? Okay, so peace flags. I'm trying to, was it Jillian? Yes, Jillian.
Yeah.
I had sent you after you sent it to us, I had 2 questions. One was, how big is it? And how do you mount it?
So it's big. It's like the size of a full flag.
Oh.
You hang it on I don't know what they're called. I mean, you could hang it on a flagpole. I've seen some school districts hang them on their flagpole underneath the American flag. I used to have one hanging from the fence in my backyard, and it's big.
So 3 feet across, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, I could go measure it. I apologize. I didn't respond to that email, but yes.
Okay, so the question is, and they don't have connectors. You have to figure out a way yourself to connect it to some kind of fence post or a pole, right?
Right.
Okay, so the question is, I know they're free. We can get them for free, correct?
They are, yeah, they recommend a donation of some sort, but there's like a wrapping on it that tells you about the organization and tells you where to make a donation. And so, if we asked for some, we could make a blanket donation from the HRC, and I'm sure that they would get donations from the people who pick them up.
Is there a minimum number you have to order at any given time?
No.
Is there a maximum order you can order at any given time?
Not that I know of, although when I was looking at the website, I believe it said something about if you order a certain amount, how much time to give them.
Okay.
I could look that up if that's helpful.
Would we like to have these available to hand out at Farmers Market and Town Day?
I think that would be great.
How do the rest of you feel? Because we'll sell Kate doesn't help. Kate has no home here signs as well, and advertise our programs. Does anyone have any? I mean, I don't have any place to hang something like that. I can't. Well, it wouldn't be very visible. But
I've hung one in my office just with thumbtacks.
Okay.
And I have handed them out to teachers who have hung them in their classrooms. The school that I previously worked at, almost every teacher in the building had one hanging in their classroom. So they're not hard to hang. They have, what I should say, they don't actually, I don't believe you can actually, can you hang it on a flagpole? They have like the 3 holes. Maybe I should take a picture and send it to you, but
Like the grommets on the side.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think that they'd be interesting to have. I wouldn't get like a 1,000 and then
Yeah.
figure out what to do, but
I was thinking 50.
yeah, something to
Yeah.
see if there's interest. We moved last year, about 1 year ago exactly, and we have been talking about how to flag our house. We don't know. Right now we've got nothing, but we want to have something, so that's where we're at. But we've been talking about a progress flag, but this is also something that of interest. It could be. So I think 50 might be a nice way to start and just see what people think.
Okay, so Jillian, if you would please do that for us.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, the other 2 items here are just updates because last year we addressed both the vocational school design and siting issue. And we addressed it on the basis of environmental concerns, accessibility concerns, and the concerns for possible indigenous people. So I just wanted you to know that the siting has been denied by the Conservation Commission and they are appealing it. So it is not going forward as is. And we, based on our past letter of statement of lack of support for the siting, I'm quite happy. And Pete Davis, who was with the school committee, provided me this information, and I thanked him because he was very active. And this has to be the siting of the vocational school. Are most of you familiar with how they were going to do this? We had a lot of public participation last year. Too much, probably.
Jerry, are you able to stop sharing your screen?
My screen is still being shared.
Yeah.
Oh, I stopped it. I said, I paused it.
You're off.
Oh, okay, now it's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I've become more familiar because I was trying to sort out what people's lawn signs meant when I first got here.
Yeah. Build a vote, but save the forest. The vocational school actually owns property inside the gates of Breakheart Reservation. And they were going to site the new school inside the gates, actually, in their parking lot
That's,
inside the
okay,
gates.
can I jump in? That's not true.
No, I'm sorry,
not
okay.
The land is not inside Breakheart Reservation. It is to the right as you go up before you get to Breakheart Reservation.
Okay, so adjacent to the parking lot. That's existing,
Adjacent to the parking lot, yeah. It's not
Okay.
inside the gates.
okay.
Yeah, I've parked in the lot to go into Breakheart. But yeah, I understand where it sits. I guess it's good to be reconsidered.
Yes,
That seems to be the conclusion.
and I will ask Pete to keep us posted since he's quite involved with this as well. The other thing I had sent to all of you is just for your own interest, the 2 designs being considered for the new Wakefield logo. We also supported redoing the logo. And so we're pleased that that design process has gone forward, and now they need to choose which of the 2 that I sent you will be the one that they will use going forward. Are there any matters not anticipated that we haven't talked about that we want to address at this point?
I just have one very quick thing. Actually, Bob Vincent emailed me. It's what is it? It's something put out by PFLAG of Greater Boston, just advising people that there is something up for proposal to sort of revamp the, something by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to revamp physical ed and health curriculum to be more inclusive of LGBTQ plus themes.
The
So
Healthy Youth Act.
yes, thank you. So if it's okay, I think I'll just forward it to this group on that email that we've all been on, and maybe we can just discuss it at the next meeting if that's something that we want to put forth in any way. First of all, Olivia, I've been loving your Facebook posts. I thought those were awesome in June for sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna start getting them up again. I had a kidney stone, so I've been like out of
Okay.
commission, but I'm gonna start. This month is Disability Pride Awareness Month, so I'll be making some posts themed around that.
Amazing. But I'll forward that email to everybody. There's like a link that people can personally send a letter on if you want to personally, and then maybe the next meeting we can talk about if that's something that we want to address.
And the governor is spearheading this initiative, and it's long overdue. So it's excellent initiative. I'm very happy to see it as well. Because things change and they have to change. Any other matters not anticipated? If not, I'm going to ask someone to make a motion to adjourn at 8:01 p.m.
Actually, Sherry, do you want to go over the action list first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Jillian, not Jillian. Jessica, would you go over the action list?
Yep. The action list, Jillian will set up a meeting with Steve to go over the accounts. Sherry is going to send a link to the video of Tom Mullen for the open meeting law after this meeting. Sherry and I are going to work together to get the second half of the April minutes together using a recording, unless we hear from Hidika. Sherry will send the handbook on operational procedures to everyone to review for the next meeting. Sherry's going to add Tom Vincent to the programming document. Sherry will also send out information so that we can all sign up for Town Day. Jeremy will reach out to the farmers market and Steve and copy Sherry about getting earlier dates for us to be there. Jillian and Jessica, myself, are going to spearhead the educational speaker series and present what we found for next meeting. Sherry's going to order the sign we've had in the past. Jillian's going to get 50 peace flags. And Olivia said you were going to post on Facebook, but I guess that's not really an action item, but thank you for doing it. I think that's it.
One thing, it's Bob Vincent.
Oh, Bob Vincent, thank
Bob
you.
Vincent.
I'm
Okay.
trying to get all the names in my head as I go, but thank you for that.
So many names, yes. Believe me, this is starting my fourth, fifth year on the commission, and I still can't get over town in state. There's a lot of people, and fortunately, there are that many people willing to volunteer and step up. Okay, so a motion to adjourn the meeting now at 8:03 p.m. We need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, seconded,
Seconded.
and that was, okay,
Jeremy.
and, okay, all in favor. Sherry says yes, Jessica,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Rabbi Greg,
Yes.
Olivia,
Yes.
and our wonderful liaisons, Steve, Maureen, and Steve. Thank you so much for participating. And we will see you all again next month. And speak sooner. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Have a great night.
Bye.